Well, hello, Rati Gorfin of Creative Calling Coaching, and I have a question. Is this you, or can you relate to the following? I want to find the right livelihood for myself. I want to start this great business. I want to be part of the music industry. I want to write a book, but it's going to take so long. It's so hard. I don't know if it'll work out or not, and I don't even know how to do it. Stick around, because if you have asked those questions and you're in the midst of grappling with those questions, I think I'm going to help you out a little bit today. So, because today we're going to talk about the following things. This is what I'm going to cover in this here live as soon as I get this lorgnette to open. You see, the glare from the light prevents me from you seeing my eyes. So I need these, I'm afraid, to be able to see my little notes here. So anyways, I'm going to cover the 3 fundamentals of getting stuff done. The 3 fundamentals that it boils down to. All right. Before I get into that, though, I want to draw your attention to the link. In the description of this video, there's an Eventbrite link. If you can't hang out for this whole thing, I suggest you bookmark it, because I'm doing a workshop tomorrow that's going to go in depth with this whole thing, and it's an opportunity to get some one-on-one coaching guidance from me. But in the meantime, I'll continue here. So I'm going to tell you a story. There's this medical intuitive who came to me a few years ago. Really talented, terrific, intelligent lady. But she was like, I don't know. I don't want to say the exact amount in debt out of respect of her, confidentiality. I've also changed her profession a little bit in telling this story. But again, it was one of those woo-woo kind of professions, right? So not only was she in all this debt, but she was also dealing with the stigma of that profession and entering that profession, which was keeping her from one-pointedly going forward and building her business at it. And to make matters worse, she had no idea how to do that. She didn't have any systems in place. All right. Well, fast forward, I would say 6 months later, she had her systems in place. Her debt was getting paid down. About a year later, she's a medical intuitive to the stars, and she has their testimonials on her website, celebrity testimonials on her website. And she's doing 6-figure business a year. Okay, that took her about a year and a half to get to. That's extraordinary. But she didn't do it alone. I am really proud to say she gave me the privilege of coaching her. She allowed me to help her to do it. And these are the things that she learned to use and put into place for herself that any accomplishment requires. All right. These are the 3 fundamentals that I'm going to be going into depth with tomorrow at this webinar. The first is decision making. This is a non-starter out of the gate for most people. They get stuck at square one because they won't, not that they can't, but they won't decide, because there aren't any guarantees. All right. So say you have decided and you have committed to some sort of goal. How do you structure that goal? How do you break it down so that it doesn't completely overwhelm you, and actually make it a realistic aspiration, something that is within your control to attain? That's element 2, goal setting. And the 3rd element is working with time. Putting those goals within a time frame, also known as setting deadlines, which is not an arbitrary process. It is not simply an intuitive process. It's an ecological process. It's a process by which you assess the reality of your situation so that you can parse how long it's going to take you to do something and you don't overpromise and then disappoint yourself. All right. Notice I'm being very careful to avoid the term time management. Time management, it makes no sense to me because time can't be managed. It cannot. Time marches on. And as I've heard the expression, it marches across your face. it just marches on whether you do any, you're going to be 75, God willing, whether you learn to play the piano or not, whether you write that book or not, whether you launch that business or not. Time doesn't give a shit. We have the same 24 hours in the day. But the difference between people with those 24 hours who get stuff done and those who don't is they learn to work with time. They learn to coordinate their goals, their systems within the time they have allotted to them. Now, if this is something you're struggling with, I imagine you're probably a highly intelligent and very divergent thinker. You probably have 50,000 ideas at once, and they're all terrific. The problem is they can't all be first. Not everything can be first. I mean, you might be able to get something. It's like a runway. That's the metaphor I like to use. You got your runway. Now, if the control tower says, okay, everybody take off, nobody's getting anywhere, right? It doesn't mean, though, that you can't launch something, right? And then another plane taxi ups the runway before the first one reaches its destination. But you have to get strategy to do that. You have to know how to run your control tower in order to do that. All right. And that brings me to the link in said description of this website. I'm just looking at the time a little bit here, which I can't see for some reason, but it's somewhere. Yeah. That brings me to the training that we all need that is not taught in schools. One thing I forgot to mention about our medical intuitive is she had ADHD. She was one of those wildly divergent, brilliant thinkers, which was part of her intuitive power. The thing about strengths is they have flip sides. They tend to have challenges. There tend to be weaknesses associated with strengths. The underbelly of a strength can be a weakness. An inability to harness all of those wonderful ideas, an inability to trust oneself when it comes to making choices. All right. And most people think they can figure it out in the darkness of their own mind. This is unfortunate because it's not true. Tomorrow, you have an opportunity to work with me from 11 to 2 Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., where I will be taking whoever is there through a process I call the ADHD Get It Done Plan. And during those 3 hours, I will go into depth with each of these parts of these 3 areas in order that create an accomplishment. All right. I'll be breaking down decision making. I'll be breaking down goal setting and systematizing, right? Coming up with strategy to achieve a goal. And I will be breaking down working with time in a very intimate setting. There's not going to be 50,000 people at this webinar. If you've been thinking about getting coached, this is a great opportunity to experience it at very little cost, very little risk. $27. For $27 and 3 hours of your time, you can gain the fundamentals of success, of what it takes to accomplish something. Sorry, I didn't come up with a clever acronym. I just didn't have the time or, frankly, the patience. Because in plain English, it comes down to making a decision, sticking to a goal, which you define once you've made a decision, and working with time. That's what it comes down to. And again, like I said, we are not taught how to do this in school. So you will actually be doing some co-working. If you attend this workshop, you will actually be getting stuff done within the workshop. You will, first of all, decide what your goal is. And if you have a goal in mind, decide what the first step is that you need to take if you are in a state of confusion and ambivalence and paralysis. And you will then break that goal down into steps, into an action plan. And then I will guide you in getting it on a timeline and getting it done within a time frame that makes sense for you, that you just haven't pulled out of your butt and arbitrarily said, I'm going to get this done in a month, based on no reality at all. All right. And you're going to have time to bounce your particulars off of me one-on-one. So I don't know how you might decide it's not a good idea to register. I think, if you've got the time tomorrow and you've got $27, which is the cost of a nice meal out, basically. Not even that nice a meal, frankly, anymore. You can't get booze with that. You could spend 3 hours with me and change your life. Quite honestly. So I encourage you to go to the link, the Eventbrite link above right now. Click on it. Don't put it off. Don't do it later because, hey, cart's closing. This event is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. And register for the ADHD Get It Done Day. My name's Rati Gorfine, in case I didn't say. I'm a creative coach, an ADHD coach, and I specialize in helping geniuses like you focus and follow through so you can get the work you love out into the world and make money at it. So I've been doing this a minute. I'm a six-figure coach. Come spend some time with me tomorrow for $27, for goodness sake. And I look forward to the privilege of helping you realize your dreams. Hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And if you can think of somebody this might bring to mind who could really use this kind of work, please share this video with them. Again, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and thanks for listening. Bye-bye.